Good morning and welcome to this week's edition of Tourismus Namibia. Once again, we bring you topics, interesting topics today, and quite a number of video clips that we would like to introduce to you. Then we obviously concentrate on destinations, different holiday ideas, places where you can stay, places where you sometimes just can have a coffee or eat or whatever. So be surprised. And then at the end of the day, we've got a bit of an interesting subject. Once again, ReconAfrica. I've just returned from up in Kavango and spoken to many people. So hopefully we can give you some interesting news. And up next, we obviously have topics. And then I remember, my name is Frank Steffen. Some of you might be able to read it on the screen. It doesn't help me only talking, you don't even know who I am. I'm the editor of Allgemeine Zeitung and then obviously also the moderator for this show, Tourismus Namibia. So up next, topics. Welcome back. Yeah, like I said, topics. We've got a few interesting topics again this week. In and around Windhoek, obviously, while I was not here, it seems to me all hell broke loose because huge bushfires actually started destroying huge tracts of land, and it was a massive loss for many farmers all around Windhoek. And some of these fires actually came quite close to the built-up areas of town. If you look at the next photo, this was the sort of view at night, and some people were totally not only surprised, in awe, I almost want to say, because they found that they can literally see the fires during daytime from any point in Windhoek. So this was huge. If we thought that Greece is only happening on the other side of the globe, wake up, global warming also catches up with us. But NMH prepared a little video clip for you.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I am Yolanda now. I am with my team here from Namibia Media Holdings, and we are headed to the fires at Regenstein. We will also be heading to Umaya to see what is going on there, and just an overview of what things are looking like at the moment after the fire spread to very close to the road yesterday already. Keep you updated to what is happening. Stay tuned. Viewers, we are situated here at the back of Farm Kromhoek. You can see the devastation that the fires has caused over the last couple of days. We have been chasing the smoke for a couple of hours, but I don't think we're going to catch up. Oh wow. You can literally see it here at the back of me. The fire has still not been contained. There are firefighters still working in the area. We have not been in contact with them as of yet, but we will get updates as soon as we can. From the information I have gathered this morning, according to the fire brigade, the fires are still not contained. It is spreading, but they are not at liberty to tell me if this was caused on purpose or if this was a natural cause. We also have to keep in mind that there also has been extensive fires in the Elisenheim and Heer Lodge areas where a lot of farmers have lost their grazing, and people are wondering how to feed their animals on those farms. One of the farm owners on Elisenheim gave comment that she lost all her grazing on the farm. She has no idea as to how she's going to feed her horses until the rain comes. She cracked a little joke saying she's doing rain dances, hoping that the rain will come sooner this year in an effort for the grazing to start growing again. We will now talk to Sean O'Dear, the Marshall Ranger. Thank you, Sean, for your time.
All right, not a problem. I'm going to try and find out what is burning, what needs to be done But yeah, Regenstein, we took out a few mountains last night. So I don't know. We did a very big area. My team were protecting horse stables. Um, we managed to save the whole stable. So we don't know where it is right now. We just hear from a mayor that there's lots of smoke, so maybe it's headed that way, headed south.
I will now be speaking to Philip. He is a farm worker at Elisenheim on the Soerendal Plaashuis, and he almost lost his life. Philip, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us this morning.
Ja, hallo, ek is Philip. Toe gisterdag 4 begin het, was ek nou onder by die rivier se kant. Toe sien ek daar kom die rook uit. Toe het ek nou langs die kragdraad se kant toe afgestap om te loop. Seker maar hoe ver is hy. Toe het dit bietjie naby gelyk. Toe was ek besig om die bokke en die beeste uit te haal van die kamp af. En wat ek nou die bokke van die ander kant afbring, toe is die deur wat ek oopgemaak het om daar deur te gaan, die area al begin klaar gebrand. Toe moet ek nou ander kant toe terug hardloop, agterkant toe, want ons was nou omtrent in die begin, die pen het by ons gekom, en hy het nou hy se kant toe toegeblok, en ek kan nou nie hy se kant toe hardloop nie. Ek moet nou net die kant wat ek kom, moet ek hardloop. Toe het ek nou die kant by
De noordse kant.
die
Katholieke.
kant van die mountains. Nee, kyk, wat ek nou, eintlik die rook, hy was baie, toe ek was hier in die vlam, ek het net die vlamme naby gesien, in die rook.
Oei, en toe?
Het ek net die vlamme gesien, en toe het ek nou ook gader mekaar, wat ek het nou ook out of control geraak, want ek ken nie wat kan doen, moet ek nou hardloop.
So jy was
Toe het ek nou
verlore in die rook, jy het verdwaal in die rook.
Ja, maar toe besluit ek hardloop maar net. Wat ek nou loop, my oë oopmaak is, het ek by 'n plek waar het klaar gebrand is. Wat die nou vuur nou begin verby gaan.
Ja. Toe dit 'n skoon plek.
Ja, maar dit was warm. Ek kon ook nie mooi asem trek nie.
En het jy rook ingekry toe?
Ja. Ons het daar gedeel by die deur het ons van ek wil nou wat ek gesien het, die vuur het gekom. Toe ek die bokke rivier se kan doen laat liewer daar in die rivier staan.
Ja.
Toe het die beeste het net onder die rivier gespring en dis kan, want die vuur het van ander hierdie kant van die rivier afgekom.
Ja, van daar se kant toe, van die Katholieke af.
Ja, het hy gekom, maar langs die rivier.
Ja.
Maar toe gaan spring jy daar, dit wat ek nou, ek was nou besig om terug te kom, hierdie kant toe. Ek wil nou hierso.
Ja, terug huis toe.
Toe onthou ek, nee, daar is ook kragdraad en hy sê vir my daar toe moet ek, toe was dit amper laat toe hardloop ek. Wat ek nou in die middel, wat ek nou die rook en die goed vir my die mekaar gemaak het, toe ken ek nou nie wat kan doen, moet ek nou begin. Dit was daar het ek nou gedink, nou is het klaar met my. Ja, maar toe besluit ek, nie vandag hier. Ek het net so gesê toe, hardloop ek net enige kant toe. Ek het soos iemand, soos dronk, na alles nou, na die rook, en die vuur nou bietjie ver is en wat ek nou sê, toe voel ek nou asof ek nou so dronk teen mekaar.
Ja.
Toe het ek eers daar bietjie gesê.
If you are in the area, please be safe and be on the lookout. We will keep you posted as far as we can.
Yeah, it's a sad story. I mean, this is shortly after we saw these huge fires at Steinhausen and those areas. We also continuously have seen these fires in and around that area of Irindi. Wherever you drive, you see fires. And in the Kavango, where I've been, huge tracts are deliberately burnt down because it's part of the tradition there. So it's sad to see. So hopefully, I think slowly but surely we're reaching a point where there's nothing left to burn anymore, sadly, as sad as it is. And we really hope that the disaster fund by the NAU will be able to sufficiently assist these people, because it's one thing to try and assist, it's another to actually have enough finances and enough resources to actually help them. So up next, there was a sad story this week. yeah, I suppose some of the people can be quite sarcastic about it and think, oh, well, it happens. I don't think so. Clearly, there weren't proper procedures followed when people tried to shoot down a buffalo. And what happened is this was up in the area of, let me just quickly look it up again. I had it and then I didn't have it, Shinyungwe. This is in Kavango East, and what actually happened is the Namibian Defence Force, they were apparently assisting in the village to have a calf, a buffalo calf, near the Kavango River shot, because apparently that calf had sort of hidden among a herd of cattle. And the people were worried, and so seeing that it was wounded and behaved aggressively towards the residents, a call was made to shoot it, but in the process, it seems to me they hit the 38-year-old man. So sad enough there, these sort of stories we don't really need. And then up further, we also have an interesting report. This one I took from the Allgemeine Zeitung. It's all about hydrogen production. So we've been speaking a lot. I mean, here we've seen sea wind energy, so it's all about renewable energies. This was in Lüderitz taken a year ago or so. But Namibia has been speaking about the production of hydrogen for some time now. I remember that the German government, through the GIZ, made quite a number of proposals. I know that the French are also looking at a couple of things. And so this week, it seems as though Namibia has come somewhat closer to its ambitious goal to become a world producer, in fact, of so-called green hydrogen and ammonia. It's really gaining a momentum, and it's the result after the 76th General Assembly of the United Nations, where President Hage Geingob and the high-level delegation attracted international investors. So the international interest was described as overwhelming at a press conference in Windhoek, and so they reckon this development has the potential to double Namibia's gross domestic product. The investment can be anywhere from 6 to 12 billion US dollars. So the potential is huge, according to Obed Kanjozi, the Director General of the Planning Commission. Now, what gets me about these sort of news is that on the one side, we're looking at green energies and alternative energies. And then on the other hand, we start investing big time into people like Reconnaissance Energy Africa, which is looking for oil and gas up in the Kavango region. So it seems to me, together with the Finance Minister Pumbushimi and Geingob's economic advisor James Newpe, the three experts gave an overview of these meetings they had over in New York. So that's as far as hydrogen production is concerned. So I'm totally for it. If we can find alternatives, let's use them. And it goes to show if we now have a production that has no negative impact on the environment, and it can double our income or our productivity, or I should say, in Namibia, why on earth would we now start, as a new young country, start going into fossil fuels? But we'll be talking about that under To The Point in any event. So up next, we've got destinations. Right, welcome back. And like I said, under destinations, we always try and introduce hotels, lodges, whatever, guest farms. It's really the choice of the journalist that makes the contribution to introduce it to us. I started that a while back, as you remember, simply so that it's not always the same sort of trend with me going for camping sites and guest farms and that sort of thing, while there are obviously many other things to do in Namibia. So up next, we've got SeaSide Hotel and Spa. This was submitted by Adolf Kaure. He's down in Swakopmund, and there you can see once again the road there on the right-hand side that leads from Swakop to Henties Bay or Vlotskapbaken, whichever way you want to describe it. And so right on the farthest side of the most northern turn-off after Swakop, you can literally then have your turn-off and go towards SeaSide Hotel and Spa. And they basically offer incredible views and lush comfort on their internet site. The complete name is SeaSide Hotel and Spa of Swakopmund. So, as you can see, very nice place there. So once again, it's right at the beachfront, and it promises you intimate service, superb cuisine, and a unique spa. And then you need to experience the SeaSide Hotel and Spa. It is just one of those things that you need to go to. And it is found right on the beach, and each luxury hotel room faces the sea and the breathtaking pictures, sunsets. So that's what they promise on their internet sites. All their rooms have direct access to this endless beach. I mean, this is obviously nice. Anybody who goes into those areas always enjoys that. We have quite a number of hotels that are situated on the beach, and clearly you can take long walks and simply just enjoy it. On the photo here you can see they're actually geared for conferences as well, and there you can see there's lots to do.
Just hang on, eh?
Yeah, welcome back. And like I said, these are always ideas that our journalists would like to introduce to you. Don't only accept our word. We're obviously trying to raise the interest. This might be to your taste, it might be against your taste. We're not there to tell you what to think. What we're telling you is it is there, and you're welcome to contact these people, because the idea is obviously that we are trying to cater for each and every taste and expectation, I suppose. So this is a very nice hotel. The reason why I'm saying that is not so much about quality this way or that way, but obviously quality comes at a cost. So it depends on what you've got in your pocket. You decide whether you would like to make use of those ideas that we bring you. That was the SeaSide Hotel and Spa. And then we still had a contribution by Jemima Beukes, and this was for the Palm Hotel in Windhoek. Now, the Palm Hotel is actually situated very centrally in Windhoek. This is not too far from the showgrounds, to be exact. It's always difficult to go too close, but it gives you an idea. The city is all around, and towards your right-hand side, I suppose, you would have the Chateau Street that goes to Luxury Hill and so on, whereas towards its left, you just, I would say, left to the bottom, that's where you find the showgrounds and stuff like that. So very centrally situated, not too far from center of town. As I said, I'm actually very close to Marua, the shopping complex. So the Windhoek Palm Hotel was basically created as part of a vision to enhance the hospitality offering of the broader conferencing, travel and tourism industry in Namibia. So it's not only focused on tourism itself. Being Namibia's capital city, Windhoek is obviously host to numerous business travelers from around the country as well as the world, and has over the years become an important transit point for international tourists. And so they embark on this, on their adventures, and need a halfway pass, I would almost call it. And so obviously this is a very nice alternative, especially because it's a bit off the main road. It's just up as you go towards the showgrounds, as said, on the Yanyonka Road, just one little road in, but that already causes it to be a very quiet location. But have a look at an additional video that we saved for you. Yes, welcome back. And like you can see, Windhoek doesn't only have only certain big hotels, but many others as well. So there's surely something for every taste, and that's what we're aiming for, to introduce you to various destinations, different accommodation sites, and so on, so that you can plan well ahead of time and find that you really have had the choice and an informed choice, hopefully. So those are our destinations for today. Up next, we've got To The Point.
If you're feeling how I'm feeling and you know I won't stop, all we gotta do is take our love to the top. If I got it and you want it and you'll never let it drop, all we gotta do is take our love to the top. I will ride for you, baby, even die for you. When I'm loving you, but my heart don't stop.
Yeah, we all read about the Standing Committee for Natural Resources. That's the Standing Parliamentary Committee, I must say, that apparently reacted to a petition by a number of protesters, environmentalists, activists, and so on, that had prepared a petition that was handed in at Parliament in June. And right from the start, and we have been speaking about it on this show a couple of times, this whole hearing seemed to be a bit of a very long, drawn-out process, with the chairman of the committee, Chikero Tuea, promising that everybody will be heard. But what he didn't say is that everybody will be heard when ReconAfrica is near. Nowhere did the people have the chance to voice their opinions, their concerns, their issues, without undue interference, it would seem. And that's why this week, the past week, I drove up to Kavango, and I had a look at what's going on with ReconAfrica up there. And this is now a photo that we took of the pit. The drilling sludge, if you want to call it that, that's the Kavango there in the background again, mere kilometer away from that pit. Now that pit, now that it dries out, you can literally still see it remained unlined. The waters evaporated to a large degree and disappeared. Here I took the photo from as you approach it from the side. I was quickly told by the security that I had no right to take photos, even though I was standing outside the whole thing. This is the first one was obviously at Kaure. Kaure was the initial drill site where all hell broke loose. Here's same again at Mbambi. You see the same thing. This is Mbambi from far. You can see the drill tower has been taken down. Everything has been assembled. Everything is standing ready to be transported to the next site, which is likely to be close to Kaure. And but once again, you see there the mud pits. They are not lined. They're not protected. The water has evaporated, obviously because of the heat, and some of it has obviously disappeared into the underground, taking away a huge amount of chemicals, I suppose, because up to this day, we were always told that the solution that they're using is biodegradable, but never once was any proof provided that it is so. No independent proof, nobody could speak to anybody. So it was hugely irritating whenever one tried to get to the facts, and this is really the problem. That's why I also wrote an article for the papers, and in Allgemeine Zeitung we led quite hugely with it. Now in the center here you see Max Muyomburuku and his friend Thomas on the left there with a red shirt. They took us around those areas, and we, for example, went to Muduva, Nyangana Conservancy, as well as George Mutoya Conservancy. And this was in those areas, in other words, in Kavango East, where we followed the stamp marks of the seismic equipment. The seismic equipment is obviously a huge tractor with a almost hammer-like addition at the back, stamping the ground regularly every 6 meters. And the reason why this is obviously rushed so that you can see that we didn't only just drive to a few sites and said, okay, enough with that. We actually almost spent 600 kilometers over those 4 days, following all these types of routes, speaking to various people. And the reason why I include this footage is this is a brand new track, and that is directly against what had been stipulated in the EIA, in the Environmental Impact Assessment. ReconAfrica originally said they would only follow existing routes. And if you drive this route, you will see that it is basically brand new. It's a newly established route, if I want to say. All along the way, you often find that they have cut down bushes. Now, the bushes are still one thing, but you know, as you can here see, we're entering thick woodland. And this, by the way, is a mark which is a couple of weeks old, and it's still clearly discernible. Even the winds and the fire couldn't destroy it. It is my cell phone that I put there just as a reference mark so that you could see how huge these things are, and they come down with a huge amount of weight. Here you can see the tractor, and there at the bottom you see that hammer that comes down with a huge force, and obviously the idea is then to assess the underneath the ground for density and various types, and therefrom basically deduce how much and what sort of material is found there. But I mean, this is in the middle of the bush, as you can see here. This is closer to Kaure. We went into their communal forest, and I always slow it down once in a while so that you can know or realize that the going was tough, and it was thick sand. So this was not an established road or anything. And along the way, if you look nicely, you will sometimes see that trees had been taken down and or chopped off and whatever. So, and what I learned over these days when speaking to the people, that there's almost not a single tree in Kavango that doesn't have some form of berry or leaf or flower that cannot be used and is edible. All of these trees, from high value trees, rosewood, right down to the mangeti tree, which basically has no value as wood, but all of them provide these people with food. And at one stage I made the remark to the people, I said, with people being as poor as they are, they would likely not survive in any part of Namibia, but up there they can survive because nature is looking after them. And that is the reason why it is simply not acceptable that ReconAfrica keeps telling us they're adhering to the law, but then they always fix the problem after somebody writes or complains about it. And what really got me is that when we picked up that supposedly, and I must say I have no proof, ReconAfrica's spokesperson actually said, is it in writing? No, obviously these sort of things are not in writing. But two of the conservancies were actually told, compile a list and tell us who you would like us, who you would want us to support. By the way, this is where it came to an end. Then it was enough. And had literally been stopped by the people sometimes. Now, this is obviously from far, far on top. And if you look nicely, you will regularly see every 6 meters, there's a sort of thud mark where you can see how that tractor focused or put down its hammer again. It is especially in this picture where you can see right next to the tree there's a clear mark, and so it's discernible from very far overhead, and we wanted to illustrate that point. Coming back to the offer that was made is, tell us who we can help and we will help them, but in exchange you will remove all complaints. Now, if that is true, then you've got a huge problem, because This is not good. This, by the way, is further down as you go towards Chingwi Conservancy, and all of these are natural forests. They're declared forest conservancies, and for one or another reason, that is not important to us anymore. But we keep telling ourselves that we need to do production of alternative energy and renewable energy, and we're big into solar energy parks and all types of things, but we somehow seem to forget that in order to do that, we need to toe the line, and either we go green or we don't go. You can't marry those two concepts. This one I simply took up also again to illustrate to you just how lush that area is. And if you look at that, those trees and the whole woodland, I mean, this is elephant population's ideal habitat. This we took from a photo where two women complained. The track you see in front here literally goes on towards the right across a field. I mean, this is the field that they are busy preparing for the new crop season. And so she said she was told they would only pass once and they would pay her some amount for it. The money has been outstanding, and they always have to listen to some gripe. Here again you see that thud mark. This is the continuation. If you take this track upwards, you would land in her field. And they drove right through it, did their assessment, and in the meantime have come into a habit of passing there regularly. So it's not a once-off thing. And so you can imagine, if it's not a once-off thing now, what will happen when they start fracking? Because they simply don't ask. Not far from here, I mean, this track literally passed behind her house. This is another house just across from her. The thudding of the seismic equipment actually caused it to crack. And ReconAfrica then came with a team to repair the house. But now many of these guys have their clay houses, and they've been damaged too. But so far, none of those have been repaired. So this is not something that is far and away, and don't worry, it doesn't affect me. These people are very, very directly affected. And this track in the back today that I've brought in as a photo here, basically illustrates to you what sort of area we're looking at. It's thick sand, it's hugely porous, and any sludge, any chemical solution pumped into the ground goes right down into the groundwater. And we have in the meantime received a reaction from ReconAfrica because I phoned them about this funny bribe offer, or apparent bribe, and they obviously discounted it as nonsense, and they've given us some more feedback, so I will be writing about it again, but I just thought you should know. So in the coming week we'll compile a whole set of videos of the whole trip and give some background and explain what's been going on there. But we thought that we should quickly include it in this show today, just to show you what's going on up there. It's far from over. People in town, those that I spoke to, are not so much concerned because ReconAfrica to them says nothing. Up there, everybody speaks of maholi, which is obviously oil then. And so in town, they're really non-committed. It doesn't affect them directly that much, or they don't. People often do not even know about it. Then we found that government ministry people don't want to talk about it because they feel they're under pressure not to react. And then on grassroots level, in the country itself, you find these, especially women who need to toil the field. They're complaining, they're worried, they say their groundwater will be affected, they're sure of it. The employment opportunities that were held out to them by ReconAfrica, they do not realize. And like the one said to me, nothing ever. So yeah, it really is a sad story, and this thing is not properly done yet. So I still feel ReconAfrica needs to be halted in line with the decision taken by the IUCN. of the United Nations. And this whole thing needs to now be stopped until a proper EIA is in existence. And the EIA must include the voices of all people, because especially the San people are the ones that are, mostly feel that they were left out in this whole process. So that's ReconAfrica for the week. Like I said, next week sometime we'll put up a complete documentation on this Facebook page of ours, Tourismus Namibia, as well as share it with the other papers so that you can have a look at it at your leisure. So that's our Tourismus Namibia for today. I hope you stay well. I hope you were able to follow what I was saying, and because it's sometimes a bit disconnected, but it's because we always took these videos as we approached the land, and that's why I decided I'll speak to it as we do. So none of this is a prepared speech. This is really just a reflection of what I experienced up there. So keep well, have a nice weekend, and then hopefully I'll see you next week.